So, MCM Birmingham Comic Con, are you ready to cheer for our cosplayers? That is good to hear.
Hey mama, look around. Everybody's moving to a brand new sound. Hey mama, follow me. I know something's in you that you wanna set free. So like go, go, go with the past now. Say hello to the love in your heart. Yes, I know that the world's spinning fast now. You gotta get yourself a brand new start. Hey mama, welcome to the 60s. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, mama, welcome to the 60s. ときめきが生まれたんだと気がついたわけだ目の前の
Cosplay is a subculture that has grown rapidly over the past few years. It was coined by Japanese journalist Nov Takahashi in Los Angeles 1984. He took the words costume and play and put them together to describe a group of people that dressed up at science fiction conventions in the USA. Inspired by this group of people, he urged that Japan include more cosplay in their own conventions. It is believed that Japan created the cosplay phenomenon due to the popularity of manga and anime. However, if it wasn't for a couple in New York in 1939, cosplay may have never existed. In 1939, Myrtle R. Douglas and Forrest J. Ackerman dressed up together in futuristic clothing inspired by the film Things to Come. It was the first Worldcon convention that they ever went to, and thought that was the thing they had to do. They lay the foundation for a hobby that would become a significant expression of fandom today. After 1939, costume contests became an annual tradition at Worldcon, drawing more participants with each passing year. The hobby was later picked up by Japan around the 1980s, which later, through the power of the internet, re-inspired Western cultures to follow suit. Over time, the increasing popularity of manga and anime has seen more people dress up as Japanese characters at conventions in the USA and the UK.
My name is Cara. I've been cosplaying for probably about 10 years, but seriously about 7, 8. So started in 2012.
My name is Anna Williams, and I do cosplay. I don't know, I just like doing it. I like to be the character for the day. You know, it's quite important, I guess, because anime has been a big part of my life. And once you really like a character, you like to portray it in some sort of way. And the Comic-Con, like the MCM conventions in London, allow you to do that.
Hi, my name's Mary. I'm a uni student. I go to BCU and I do sociology. I cosplay. I've been doing it since I was about 13 years old, and I do it just because it's fun. And I do it with my friends as well. It's like a group of 10 of us, and we go to conventions around the UK.
My name is Selen Kurt, and I've been cosplaying since 2014 or 15. So it's around like 3, 4 years.
I'm James. I've been cosplaying for about 7 years, 6 years, something like that. First cosplay I did was Dante from Devil May Cry, the reboot. It was okay. I actually had people recognise me, which was good, considering I had a week to put it together. And it was just a pair of jeans, boots, and a vest, and some gloves, and swearing at people, because that was the joke going around, that you just swore at everyone.
So my very first was Hatsune Miku, because that's everyone's first. That wasn't, it was all right. Like, it wasn't particularly well made. The wig was a big problem because it was so heavy. And the first time wearing a wig, it was like the worst wig for a first time. So it was just off the whole time. The first proper one I did was a character called Mindfang from the webcomic Homestuck, which is has connotations, but she's like a pirate, and I quite like that. So
first cosplay was Gin from Bleach, which was in 2009. I went to Telford Comic Con and I bought a black shirt and I lined it with white bias tape and sprayed my hair silver. It was great, it was really fun because it was my first, I was always into like anime and stuff, and it was my first time going to something like that. So going to a place where everyone likes it and you're not the odd one out was really comforting at the time, especially as a teenager, definitely.
I think early on you always start with like, I hear boys say it a lot more as well, because there's not that idea of, there will be makeup and there will be wigs. In the beginning you sort of think, I will do this character because I have blonde hair or I have ginger hair or something. And it's like, well, usually with characters, you look much better with a wig anyway. Like, not necessarily, like people have won big competitions without wearing a wig, you don't have to. But usually if you're going for that like kind of higher than real look, that semi-cartoony look, wigs are much better. The ideal isn't, the goal isn't to look real, it's to look not real, which is achieved by things like wigs and really over-exaggerated makeup. So in that sense, you don't, certainly now I don't think, I don't look like her, other than things like weight and race. That's where it gets a bit funky.
If you want to be winning competitions, and yes, it is important to pick it's beneficial if you pick the same features, because that's what cosplay is. You expect, like, with, let's say, like Captain America, you expect a guy to look like him, like, you know, something like with a figure, with a face, probably blonde. So, however, no, in terms of a hobby, absolutely not, because it's part of you. It's like, it's what you want to be, and people love that, absolutely. They don't care. That's what Comic-Con is great, because people come up to you and then they'll be like, oh wow, you look fantastic, and that's all that matters.
You don't have to generally look like them, because a lot of these characters we're dressing up as, they don't look like anyone, they don't look like any kind of human being, especially in anime with big eyes and the small faces.
Putting together, if I'm going to buy it online, then I have to maybe if it doesn't fit my body, I have to go to make it to fit. I have to go to tailor, or if I'm sewing myself. Once I did a cosplay, I sew a costume, it took me 3 days because I had to cut 126 stars for the cosplay from the EVA, so I had to it took some time and sew them as well to the costume. It was like a Star Lady cosplay, so yeah, it takes around 3 days, 4 days, but full days. It takes 10 hours in one day, so around 30 hours, I will say.
Ironically, Peach was one of the easier ones. I know, this is what I say about ball gowns, because people are like, oh, well, the ball gowns, and I'm like, they're not actually that hard to do, because essentially all they are a very simple bodice and fabric from there to there, gathered. So gathering is easy, you're just running it through. And all it is a big crinoline underneath, and then I made a petticoat for that. And the puffy sleeves, I've actually been trying to make a video on those for ages, because people ask me how I make my puffy sleeves. But they are pretty much the same principle as gathering a skirt. It's just 2 sleeves, so a puffy sleeve on top, a normal sleeve underneath, sewn at the joint, and just stuff it with stuff, like you would with a toy or something. So I think other people use that method. I came up with it myself. In a sense, I didn't copy anyone, but it's a logical process, if you know what I mean. It's something that other people do.
I've recently invested into the sewing machine, but that would cost quite a bit. And you have to spend, it's materials, it's the glue gun, it's everything, depending, it's wobbler, you use the EVA foam, you use the glue sticks, and depends on if you're doing a armor, that can cost, and spray paint, that's a €5 a can, and you need different, you need the primers as well, depending on which material you use. So yeah, I spent quite a lot, but it's all worth it.
My makeup's got better. I can style wigs better. I know how to cut wigs now. And it's not just about putting a wig on, it's putting it on, spending about an entire day cutting it, styling it, making sure it fits on your face and doesn't leave a shadow. So I've started to not like glue, but eyeshadow glue, you glue the wig to your face so there's no shadow when you have photos there. And contact lenses as well. I couldn't put in contacts for years, and I did it last year. And the moment it went in my eye, it was amazing. It changed my entire outfit. I was just like, yes.
Hi, I'm Bob Ross. It's like the new trailer dropped and I thought I gotta get in there before anyone else does. There's no mistakes, just happy little accidents. Mostly I just find really talented people and pay them all of the money to make them for me.
Right in and run all the colors across the screen that you'll need to paint along with me.
Going for like a sort of landscape at night.
I am Tommy, or so Johnny, from the movie The Room, and this is Mark. Oh, hi Mark. And we have football. We come here representing the movie, but also Disaster Artist, which was made from my movie The Room. I discovered it on the internet before it was this big movie, and then now obviously with the new movie coming out, it's become even bigger and now everybody knows it, so.
I did not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
It's amazing that this insanely awful movie from 10 years ago is now somehow an Oscar movie now because of the Disaster Artist.
Dressed as Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I'm Patsy, and this is King Arthur.
This is completely made from scratch. I made this at work. Yeah, this is made. Everything on Patsy's made. The rest of it's brought.
This is my cat toy. This is still it.
Yeah, constantly changes. Like this was silver, I painted it gold, and this has got more elaborate and heavier. So I think she's gonna break her back at some point.
My back got stronger over the years. Nobody really does Monty Python. You don't really see it very often.
You see a lot of Jokers and Harleys. You never see Monty Python.
I grew up watching it. My dad's a big Monty Python fan, so we're still relatively new to it. We love it. It's awesome.
I'm David Bowie's character from Labyrinth, which is Jareth the Goblin King.
You remind me of the Babe. Babe with the power. Power of voodoo. You do. Remind me of the Babe.
It was the first film I ever owned on VHS in the 80s, and I always loved the film. And then when I noticed, when I started cosplaying and noticed nobody was doing it, I was like, right, I need to get in. I would do this character, and from that it's pretty much blown up from there. I don't sort of buy a costume. I buy like the little pieces, and I'll spend like a while looking for each individual bit. This bit was custom made from someone in America, but everything else is literally Primark, eBay, Amazon. I'm just very good at looking for these little touches. So it's awkward. So I started literally the month after he died, and I was really worried. So I thought perhaps like people wouldn't like it that I was being one of his characters so soon. Would it be disrespectful, whatever? Actually, completely the opposite. Everyone's been absolutely wonderful. It's obvious, and there's a lot of people who've grown up with the movie and now teaching their kids, like showing it to their children, and it's then their favourite film as well. So the legacy of Labyrinth has sort of lived on so much, especially because it's Jim Henson as well.
I've come as Steampunk Mercy from Overwatch. I really love steampunk. I've loved it for years, and I've done lots of steampunk outfits. And I really love the actual Mercy designs, but I kind of couldn't decide which one I wanted. None of them really grabbed me, and there'd been a lot of really amazing Mercy cosplays already, so I kind of wanted to do my own thing. And then someone suggested to me to do Steampunk Mercy, and I thought that sounds amazing. I'll definitely do that. I'm planning another Mercy cosplay next. It's another fan art. It's like a Cambodian themed design, so it's got like a big dress and loads of like lace and details and that sort of thing. This one took about 5 months. Most of that was spent making the clothes, which for me is kind of the easy bit, and then I had a month left before the convention, and I thought, I haven't started the wings or the staff, I need to make them. So I rushed those in like a month. Just about got it all done in time.
Cosplay is not just only a hobby, as some have managed to create a career out of it. Jessica Nigri is an American cosplay celebrity, promotional model and YouTuber. She's been cosplaying since 2009, promoting various video games such as Lollipop Chainsaw and Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Her cosplays have been deemed a bit too revealing for some, and has been told to restrict her presence on stage a few times in the past. Apart from this, she boasts a following of 2.9 million people on Instagram, which is a pretty big deal considering she's not exactly a conventional cosplayer that always stays true to their character. So, is Jessica the true face of cosplay?
There's this question like, you know, is sexy cosplay, if someone only does sexy cosplay, are they as valid as someone who only does very intricate armor work? Like, I don't really have an answer. It's tied up in all kinds of issues like feminism and everything. And it's something that not many people have an answer for, and it doesn't help when you have quarrelling within the community and externally with the people that would sort of objectify cosplayers and things. And, you know, are we allowed to sexify characters?
I don't think she's a bad cosplayer or a bad person. I've actually met her. Yeah, I met her at, about 3 years ago at a convention at London MCM in May, I think it was, or October. I can't remember which one. I think I go to both. And she was really nice. Like, I didn't like her before that, and I met her and it changed my perception of her entirely. Like, it made me kind of realise, oh, she's just a person, basically. And people are like, oh, but she's on Patreon, she does photo shoots and modelling bikinis and stuff, and like Mercy in her nurse outfit. I'm like, yeah, but it's her thing. And she's gained a business from this, and it's her money. And she's managed to make a career out of her hobby. That's still something to idolise in a way. I don't think she's a bad cosplayer. When she does, like, she makes her own outfits. When she does do her own outfits, like her big Modern Warcraft ones, they're amazing. They're really good. I think she gets too much hate, basically. I think she's great.
Creative is fine, but I think when you are creative, there is sometimes a backlash, certainly if you're being creative in a particularly sexual manner, which again is completely fine and acceptable, wear what you like as long as it's within the convention rules. But don't, at the end of the day, people's opinions, people's reactions are people's reactions.
Because I used to be a big fan of hers, and then I was just like, you know what? She's not that great of a cosplayer. There's only two reasons why she's got such a fan following, if you catch the drift.
Everyone's different on how I think about her and stuff, because a lot of the time it's like people flock to her and think, oh, she's actually what cosplay is, and it's like, no. Because you'll have, in particular, men who do big armour builds and they don't get recognised, and it's like, that compared to someone in a bikini, I understand why you'd be annoyed about that.
Just like her personality. I like how she makes cosplays for fun. She does it and it makes other people happy as well. And she's really like, she's down to earth as well with her cosplays, and she does it for fun rather than like, I think she does it for fun and personal gain, but like she does it to make other people happy as well and inspire people. So
I would prefer someone like Kamui Cosplay being a figurehead. Kamui Cosplay is a German cosplayer, and she does a lot of armour. She does do sexy stuff as well, but often the sexy stuff is that's what the source material is, rather than changing to become more sexy. I think both, in a sense, a figurehead doesn't quite make sense for cosplay because it's so vast. It can be so many things depending on what are you looking for sewing? Are you looking for craftsmanship? Are you looking for pretty women? Are you looking for pretty men? It kind of, none are invalid, but there are also very different figureheads. Like even people like Reika in Japan, she's like big. But she does a load of pretty men cosplay. Like certainly in the past it wasn't as skilled as such. She's very skilled, but compared to someone like Kamui Cosplay, the skill going into the armor making and things is arguably better. But Reika is very known for very well done cross-dressing makeup. So in that sense, I think to have a true figurehead, you'd need at least say 5 to display across the board. And I think perhaps you'd probably have to have someone that makes and wears fursuits, because I think even though people try and deny that furries are part of the community, they kind of are. And fursuits in themselves are very difficult to make.
I don't know if she is the face, but she's pretty unknown. I would say she's not face in Turkey, because in Turkey we have one girl She's called Anzu Jamu, Anzu. And she's like in Turkey the one that has the most followers. She has like 400,000 followers in Instagram, and she's so popular in Japan and other countries. Like, we're surprised. So I will say for Turkey she is the face of cosplay. For other countries, I think she's the one who always did like first. So I will say she may be like the face. It depends on if you are doing a game cosplay or like a game for an anime. But yeah.
Just straight up do it. I think often people worry about, maybe it's a bit too hard for me. Like, it's not as hard as it looks. Like, it can be if you want it to be, in the sense that you can often either simplify or complexify a garment or a costume to fit your skill. Obviously the end result will be different, but often if you complete something that is akin to something that you thought would be way out of your league, like my first ball gown, I was like, wow, a ball gown? I can't make that. And then I did, and I was like, oh, that was actually kind of not easy, but it wasn't as hard as I thought. So then, you know, I go and make another one and it's better, and now I know how to make a better one if I go and make a third or a fourth. I think it's my fourth. So I'd say, you know, just go for it.
Research.
Take your time.
I did a lot of research when I first started cosplay. Like, I watched so many videos, and I know people, like, when they see the first cosplay, like, oh, that's so bad. Like, I just still feel the same, but I don't think it was like that bad. And that sounds really braggy. I'm so sorry.
Do whatever you want. Don't listen to any criticism. Doesn't matter if you make it, if you buy it, as long as you feel comfortable in it, just do it. Because there's a lot of elitism with buying cosplays. It's like, oh, it's not really cosplay if you buy it. But it's like, you're still putting it on, you're still doing the makeup, you're still doing the contacts, still doing the wig, and you're still having fun. At the end of the day, we're all geeks at a convention, so just enjoy it. Doesn't matter where you get it from. That's it, or how you make it. I think there's too much of that, and that really bugs me. One of my friends was like that a while ago, and it put me off cosplay for a bit, and I was just like, it's not what you think anymore. So,
you don't have to buy really high quality things. Just, you know, there's always going to be cosplayers out there that buy the best wigs from Arda, and there's always going to be people that buy cheap eBay wigs, and it doesn't really matter. Like, cost shouldn't really be an excuse not to, because you can make it look good if you know how to. It just takes more effort to make it look good, and use a lot of reference images. That's usually the best. Reference images are really good and really helpful, every angle.
It's overwhelming experience. Definitely wear flat shoes, because you're gonna get tired in terms of cosplay. That's what I always do. I always wear trainers, or like masquerade my shoes for the cosplay, never heels, because your feet's gonna be dead. And oh right, take the cash out. Do not go there with a card, because it's like cash only, most of the things in there. It's definitely, and enjoy yourself.
Some consider cosplay as little more than a hobby. Others have transformed their passion into a career and make a living from it. Then there are those who do it just for fun. What unites these people, though, is that passion, fandom, and courage to share with the public what bonds this group together. What costumes will be created next?
"導いてる導いてる導いてる願いを乗せ